Welcome to the presentation of my LMS Schoology. I will be teaching 4th grade next year, which will be a change for me. I'm moving from 2nd grade in a completely different district. So with that change comes a lot of change. I will be doing some team teaching, and my team mate will be someone who is new to teaching a little bit, but she is very tech savvy and is planning on coming up with a website for our entire grade level to use. So with that in mind, I am using Schoology as something to link back to through the website. So I wasn't as good at organizing all of my my lessons as I probably would be if I were using this as a standalone resource. So keep that in mind as we're kind of looking through, and I will take you on a little tour. Looking first here at math, this is just plain math for everyone to be into together. I've organized these into the types of lessons I'll be teaching. So fractions, word problems, multiplication, division, and resources are the ones we're looking at. And then this resource is just extra resources of things I think will be beneficial for students to have access to, but I didn't necessarily want them in any of the topics that I had created. So just a couple of fluency games for students to go to. This would be like a bonus activity, something that they could go to if they had extra time. And I also included my rotation map so that students could see where they were supposed to be going when we were doing our station rotations. So looking here, I have the teacher led here in the blue, a student collaboration station, and then this digital research and workstation. This will always be a digital station. Some of the other stations will also have a digital component at times, but not always. So that kind of follows that one must always be digital rule that goes with station rotation. All right, looking again at the math, I have made some small subfolders inside each of these that have to do with those stations. So the digital practice, the teacher led, and then that small collaborative group. I also put a resource folder in each one of these if there were specific resources for that topic. So I did not flesh out multiplication, but I did go ahead and take care of fractions. A lot of things have changed in fractions as far as standards, so I kind of wanted to look that over anyway, so it gave me a good reason to look at it. Let's look first at digital practice. This is what students will do as they're alone with their Chromebooks. We will be one-to-one with these 4th graders. So these are things that they can do on their own. I've included an Edpuzzle video for them to use, and it goes straight to my Edpuzzle account whenever they are finished. So as they are starting the assignment, we'll have lots of questions for them. I'm going to go ahead and turn it down. It's a little noisy. Okay, and then I'm just going to skip to this first question. Oh, if I can. Here we go. Okay, so this first question, if you eat only this part of the pizza, what fraction of the pizza did you eat? And students will go ahead and answer in here as they will with the rest of the question. So I just kind of skipped through, but there are 5 questions for them to answer, which should give me an idea if they understand equivalent fractions or not. I'm going to head back to digital practice, and inside here I have a couple of activities. These are actually the graded activities for students to do where I can insert a grade into the gradebook part. These one at a time activities are from commoncoresheets.com, and my idea was for them to do 10 and then take a screenshot and airdrop that to me so that I can see their work and go ahead and give them a score for it. I can also send this to their Seesaw account so that it can be kind of something for them to hold on to without actually having to hold on to a piece of paper. So I kind of like that aspect. I did an adding mixed fractions and a subtracting mixed fractions. Those are exactly the same activity, only the opposite operation, obviously. I also have included some apps for them to download. I'll have a classroom set of iPads as well, and that will be used during that digital practice group. So these links will take them directly to the app so that they can get straight to it, download it if it hasn't already been downloaded, and go ahead and play. Okay, another thing that can be found here will be these links to different websites that have fraction games ready. So if they click up here on the name of it, it brings the website up and they can see all of those fraction games ready to go. If they are working on a specific topic for fractions, then I will have them go to a specific game using a photo link in their website, their class website will probably be the best way for that, or just naming it on here. This would be something that they could go back to that they've already practiced before on their own and that they should know how to play on their own. So that is one of the websites. There are two more of those here, Math Playground Fraction Games and Math Play Fraction Games for them to look at. This was the digital practice folder. So we're going to go back into fractions and down to teacher-led activities. These are activities that I'll be doing with students as I meet with them in a small group together. The first thing that I've added here is adding mixed fractions, and when you click on it, it comes up like this. Students can add here to access the PDF, which has been downloaded, and it should come up right here. Okay, using this PDF together with students, I would go problem by problem, kind of discussing them with them, having them answer, and then checking through to ensure that they have mastered whatever skill it is that we're working on. This particular one does have an answer key here, so I would make sure that that wasn't there whenever students are actually accessing it, but I wanted to make sure that I had it for when I am using it with my class. So I'm just going to go back to teacher-led activities to look at the other things in here. The next one is subtracting mixed fractions, which is similar to the adding mixed fractions activity that I just showed you. So it's another PDF that comes up what I can look at with students as they're working with me in that small group setting. The next 3 pages are activities where it gives an explanation of the activity, and then it shows a photo of what the students are supposed to be doing during that activity. I find that that's really helpful, especially if I were to have a substitute. They could access this and see exactly what I was asking them to do with the directions and then a photo really detailing that. So there are 3 of those, 3 different activities for that. The next thing at the bottom is checking progress games. These are games that I would play with students at my table. So this would kind of throw in that digital element again, but this is for the teacher-led activity. So I want to see them playing these games. I want to see that they can go through the tutorial. They can ask any questions then of me that they aren't sure about. And if there are games that or things that they are lacking, I can make sure that they're actually accessing that particular type of game to build those skills. All right, that wrapped up teacher-led activities. So I'm going to move back to fractions and go down to small group. Okay, looking here at small group, one of the first things I have is Play Basic Fractions Kahoot. This is that online game Kahoot in which students will play together to practice their fraction skills. So they'll click on the link, they'll get the code that will go with their game, and all of them will enter it in, and then they will be able to play together. Another activity here is a fraction war game. This one is similar to those domino games. This is probably something I would have in that teacher-led group first to kind of model how it's played, and then I would allow them to play in this small group setting. The same goes for those that are already in that teacher-led group. Those would probably move to the small group after they'd played and had a chance to practice it. Another game I have is this missing numerator game. I will have game boards ready for kids to play this game over in that small group station, and this kind of gives them a nice little instructions area to see what they're doing, and they can play that game together. This is adding fractions tic-tac-toe. It shows an example of how to play. I will have those boards ready for students in the station as well. They can get the instructions right here. Something I wanted to add was one of the chats, one of the discussion boards. So I did add one here in this small group. It says fractions chat. And I wanted to kind of see all the different things I could do with Schoology and some of these things. So I did go ahead and add the different standards here so they can see exactly what they're talking about. The questions for this discussion are: describe the most difficult thing about working with fractions, and then what is something new you have learned through our fractions study. So in this space, they would go ahead and type whatever their discussion answer was, and then they could all see each other's information. And we can talk about that together. Maybe when they move to the teacher-led station, that would be something we would talk about together. At the end is a fractions quiz. I left this in small group because I felt like it was something that they needed a chance to do in that group that they were already working in, and I wanted it done before they got to the teacher-led group so that I could see what they had done, and that way I could kind of decide what kind of further instruction they would need. So I only added 3 questions here. I don't really feel like that would be enough to fully assess their ability to understand fractions and all of the different topics that have to do with fractions that we'll be talking about. But I thought this was a good jumping off point, and I wanted to make sure that I had something in there that used this option that Schoology gives so that I could kind of practice it on my own. With that said, that was all of small group that I went through. So I've led you through all of the math fractions topic that I have here in Schoology. If you have any questions or any comments, things that would help me out, I am more than willing to accept those comments because I am new to this and I really want to use it in my classroom this year, so I want to make it the best it can be. Thanks so much.